Hello and welcome to your Asian Pulse TV. I'm your host Manveer Randhawa, and today we are broadcasting from the unceded territories of Silvertooth Nation, Mokim and Kwantlen Nation. We feel very blessed for the generosity of the First Nation people who let us share this land with them. A news was released last few weeks, and I'm very concerned about it, and I want to share that with my viewers here. Starting Tuesday, January 31st, 2023, it is no longer a criminal offense to possess small amount of certain illicit drugs in BC for people aged 18 or above. In other words, adults can possess up to 2.5 grams of drugs like cocaine, meth, fentanyl, and morphine. Canada's federal government is doing a 3-year experiment following a similar policy in the nearby US state of Oregon, which decriminalized hard drugs in 2020. We want to make our viewers clear that decriminalization is not legalization, which means under this exemption, illegal drugs, including those that are listed above, are not legalized and will not be sold in stores. Drug trafficking remains illegal regardless of the amount of drugs. On the premises of elementary and secondary schools, licensed childcare facilities, airports, on any Canadian coast vessels or helicopters, if you are caught with any such illicit drugs, you will be criminally charged for that. March 8th is celebrated as International Women's Day, and many institutions, organizations, and societies have celebrated women's in the past, and they are also doing it for the same cause every year. Shakti Society is such a non-profit society dedicated to empowering women, families, and children. If you know a woman who deserves to be recognized as a leader, advocate, as an activist, visionary, or even as a source of strength, then nominate them for Shakti Award Gala. This is your opportunity to have them celebrated by nominating them for Shakti Awards. March 25th, Saturday, is the 22nd Annual Shakti Award Gala, which will be held at Bollywood Banquet Hall. Get ready, get your early bird tickets at just $65. For more information, you can call Sonia at 604-307-8796. Let's take a short break and hear some words from our sponsors.
I understand how important it is to have a place called home, and it's frustrating using your hard-earned money on rent. Vic Prasad can make you a homeowner. Get pre-approved services provided to first-time buyers and new immigrants. You can qualify for mortgage even if you have bad credit. Call Vic Prasad now on 604-306-6647. Vic Prasad is associated with Craft Mortgages Canada Incorporated.
For any kind of visa-related services, contact Milky Way Immigration, a galaxy of opportunities located at Unit 209-9547 152 Street, Surrey, BC. They have licensed immigration consultants, placement officers, and LMIA experts to meet your immigration and recruitment needs. Book one-time free consultation either on Facebook or by calling 604-396-0005.
Arvind's Curry and Cocktail, Indian cuisine. They do catering for all occasions and they do free delivery. Please call 604-515-1070. Address is 420 6th Street, New Westminster. Open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. For deliveries, call 604-515-1070 or arvindscurry.com.
Bollywood Banquet Hall and Conference Center, located at Pyle Business Center at 201-8166 128th Street in Surrey. No celebration is too small to accommodate you. They have newly renovated 2 halls to serve you, up to 1,000 guest capacity, top-notch chefs to delight you with delectable and heavenly cuisine. So just call Bollywood Banquet Hall at 604-598-2700 for your events. Benisi Mobile Detailing Services. They offer commercial trucks, cars, SUV, boats, bikes, RVs, and much more. Just give them a call at 778-808-2859. Just give them a call at 778-808-2859 and they will do all kind of services at your home. Thank you, sponsors. Today, our guest in the studio is Dupinder Durand, who will be talking about International Women's Day with you.
Happy International Women's Day. As we all know, March 8th is set aside to celebrate International Women's Day. What is International Women's Day and why should we still be celebrating? Some people say that's behind us, we all are equal and let's move on. But I don't think we have reached that point yet. So with talking IWD Day or International Women's Day, I have invited Dimple Dipender Saran, and she's an activist, founder of One Voice Canada. She works in the healthcare. You see her everywhere in the community, and she also ran for the civic election in the past election of the city. So we are here to talk about International Women's Day and why should we, or our younger generation, women especially, be able to recognize this day. It's a special day. Welcome, Dimple.
Thank you so much, Camilla, for having me here.
Yeah.
And it's always a pleasure being on your show.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about IWD Day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so what do you remember from IWD? I mean, it's been every year March comes, March goes, March 8th actually. And that day is set aside to recognize women, celebrate our sisters, our grandmothers, our daughters, young women, women in sports, all the women in general.
That's right. From different backgrounds in life, from different careers, different, sort of roles that they play in this world. And International Women's Day is so special because it not only recognizes women, it brings out the strength that we have as women and as young girls who look up to others in the community. Representing not only our own roots sometimes, the confidence that we can carry forward in all the roles that we play as a woman. Whether you're a mom, whether you're a sister, a daughter, somebody who's just a friend, and then career-wise, like you said, there's so many different, health careers, law careers, coming from medical background, sports, many different aspects that women go into. And a lot of women, now leading communities with nonprofit organizations or doing other work in their communities to represent not only women, but help those that are in need of help. And so recognizing that we not only play the role of a mother sometimes, but we actually play the role of a mother in a community sometimes. So these things are very important in life, and they should be recognized, especially with the obstacles and challenges they face. I mean, when we talk about domestic violence, when we talk about, genocide of the fetus, when we talk about different sort of aspects that women struggle to make their way into their positions in this world. And equality, we still struggle with equality. We look at different workplaces, we're still not quite where we need to be, especially women of color. And I think that's really important. When we talk about International Women's Day, we're talking about international women, women of all different races and colors and backgrounds. And that coming to the forefront on this particular day is very important.
And I think it's also important to remember that we still make about 78 cents a dollar what the man makes for the same job.
That's
so
right.
We are not equal yet, but we will keep fighting. Because something you said, like we are the mothers of the community sometimes, and you are a prime example of that. Because these international students that come from India or other countries, One Voice Canada, there are so many young women who don't have any role model. They are looking up to the women in here to guide them, to lead them, to help them get settled. So these are all the women. You being a community activist, helping these young women get to reach their goals, whether schooling, finding employment, finding housing, finding anything, right? To integrate into the society.
That's right. As women, sometimes we feel lost, we feel alone, we feel not heard. And so that's another reason this day is so special and important, because this is the one day that women worldwide, when they feel unheard otherwise, can actually vocalize and be what they want to be and say what they want to say and be heard, especially on social media, as we know, and other platforms that are available to them, you know, as speakers and as role models. And when we talk about international students, exactly that. There's many students, you know, especially females, coming into Canada or other countries and having to leave their own homes at a very young age. And the struggles that they face are, you know, very much so, whether it's exploitation or sexual harassment or, again, domestic abuse, you know, just to name a few. And at young ages, trying to find space where they can actually have conversations about these topics with somebody, finding space of, you know, somebody leading them and guiding them, and finding that space of who to look up to in order to get past these challenges, and at the same time trying to keep their mental health in check. You know, mental health with women is a big thing as well. I mean, with men it is as well, but with women, when it comes to our expression, we're a little bit different than our male counterpart. The way we express ourselves, the way we would like to feel connected with somebody. And I think these students, when they come at such a young age, that's all they're looking for, is a way of connecting to somebody who can understand them at that age group and lead the way. And some of them are becoming leaders in the community. There are many students coming and being able to integrate, becoming leaders, becoming counselors, you know, or in counseling others, and in their own career path that they've chosen, whether it's healthcare, what, you know, whatever it is, they are starting to lead the way. But it's a matter of exactly that, having some sort of guidance, having somebody there who's another woman role model. And, you know, there's many in our community, and I'm very proud to say a lot of women in our community collaborate. They like to work together, and they like to really rise each other up, which is very inspiring to see.
When you started One Voice Canada, and I know it's about 5 years ago or so, did you think that you have your daughter? I know you have your one son and daughter. And then did you also think that you will also become the figurehead or a mother figure for so many younger women that are coming and they're looking up to you as a mom, because they have left everybody back home, and anywhere they go here, if they are not guided properly, then they will get exploited by the employer, by the people that live in the household, or they're renting a basement and all that. That's what I find that's so common in Surrey. First of all, so many live together, and then especially with the landlords and all that, they just abuse the people. They don't know their rights, or they are newcomers to this country.
That's right. You know, no, I didn't know I was going to be playing such a big part and role in all of this. Honestly, when I started to look into the International Student Matters, there was quite a few leaders in our community who had come forward along with myself to take this and tackle the problems that were happening. At that time, it was very subtle. It wasn't very well known that this exploitation, or what the students' concerns are and what they're facing. But when I ran with it, when I started to see that others were giving up because that student relation wasn't being built with some of these girls. It came to a time period where, you know, viral videos were being circulated about the wrong stuff these students are doing, but nobody's there to guide them the correct way. And at that point, I kind of took a leap forward compared to all the others and said, no, this needs to stop, and we need to be role models for them, and we need to show them that we're here to support. And in that, I didn't realize that, I actually knew there was problems, but I didn't realize the level of the problem. Like, it's a national problem. It's not just a local Surrey problem. It's a national Canada problem, but there's certain communities and pockets within Canada that have more problems than other places.
Of course, yeah.
And it's a lot of the colored again, it's the color background, the social aspect of where they're coming from. Who is it that's facing most of the problems? And a lot of our South Asian girls are, when they're coming from India or other countries of similar nature. They're really facing a lot of problems and hardships here, trying to, number one, fit into the society, trying to get to where they need to go career-wise, trying to make sure they don't get exploited at their employment places, at colleges. I mean, we already know colleges are charging a large sum of money
for them.
but the counseling or the other resources aren't really in place for these in a safe, sensitive culture manner for these students. And so I really didn't know when I took on the sort of connecting the community with One Voice and bringing these problems forward for these students, mainly the girls, that how much there was out there and how many actually would turn to us for their need. Like I'm just very, very surprised at the level of support these students need. And I'm very happy to say that a lot of our community members are supporting in different ways. But it's just something that I think even if we look at the political side of things, we have a lot of women in politics now. And I think when I speak to them, it's the same. It doesn't matter which career path you're in. That competition or that inequality or that not being heard is still, they're facing it as well. And so, and they face other types of harassment. And so when we look at students, and I try to bring up some of these topics up to certain politicians, during roundtables or other things, when our group meets with certain other organizations and collaborates, and doing roundtables with the politicians, we realize how much they actually don't know about these students, or how much they do know and unable to actually do anything in the role that they play in the political field, right? Even being a woman in the political side of things. There's a lot of red tapes for women, and there's a lot of boundaries that you have to cross and feel uncomfortable when you're trying to do advocacy for anybody. And I think, when we look at United Nations, overall, they always mention how much percentage-wise a woman has to work more so than their male counterpart in order to just be at that same level of career, whether it's a career, whether it's their level of advocacy, whether it's their level of just being a part of this world, right? So I think we really need to step back and analyze what it is that we as a world overall are still not doing correctly for our young girls, for our older women, for those that want to lead, whether it's the political end of things or in different organizations. Why are we still in 2023 facing these challenges? I think that's very important to analyze and kind of retrospect on as to what kind of changes we still need in our communities. We still have people pulling women down. Yes. I'm going to put it that way.
Yeah.
Yes.
And when we look at the political arena, I'm kind of glad that we have Rachna Singh as the Minister of Education, and we have Sharma, what's her name, Niti Sharma. She's the AG, she's the first brown woman to be appointed as the AG of province of British Columbia. So we have got some gains out there. But let's see how long. Are they using these women as a token, or they think, the government, which is EB's government, think that these women are worth and we should move them in the leadership roles, right?
Yeah.
So, there are few and far in between, but I think there are a lot of other women that can make a lot of difference, and they can be leaders, but sometimes it's just like money, finances, family issues, and support. The main thing is the community support.
That's
we as women don't get, that we should be getting.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
No, like I'll say that there was a difference between the time I ran in 2018 to even the time I ran in 2022.
Yeah.
The support was much more this time
Yes.
than last time. But it was like, again, like how we're saying, that's a 4-year span. I had to prove myself in the community for 4 years.
Yes, yeah.
Where as a male who has never done anything can come and stand right beside me and be recognized exactly the same way.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Without doing very much. And so I think that is where we stand, is that women, again, we have to say women have to work much, much harder. Any arena that we take on, even for sports.
Yes.
How many women do you know that are successful in sports right now?
Not very
There
many.
are some, but very few.
Yeah.
And so we need to really, we need to be thankful and have gratitude for those that have made it to where they have, and be very supportive of one another. I think that's a big part of and piece of the puzzle as well, is women supporting women regardless of what your background is. Helping other women accomplish their goals would overcome some of these hurdles, I think.
And sometimes when you're talking about it, sometimes I find, like when you came in, I said we have to do this event, right? The March 21st. And you just supported that, yeah, go ahead, let's do it, that's great. But some women, I also find that they brainwash you, they steal whatever your thoughts and ideas are and run with it.
Well, you know what? We call that manipulation, right? And so, I understand some women are trying to get ahead and lead, but that's not the right way of doing it. Because, and I think that's why International Women's Day is so important, is that we recognize not only what each woman is good and capable of, but also how are we supporting one another? We expect men to support us, but are we truly as women supporting one another in each of the different areas of our lives?
And any celebration, whatever women are doing it, I think we should all get behind it and just say, yeah, that's a good idea. I'm coming on board, and be able to help. And that's the only way we can grow. I think there are certain things that we have not learned from men. We should be learning from how the men, the brothers, how they support. But women just rip them apart, and they are not, sometimes I find they are not very supportive. On the International Women's Day, March 8th, it's today when the show is going to go on air. What would you like to say to the younger women, the rising star of tomorrow?
I would say, never give up on your dreams. Always know that everything's possible. Just have a vision and goal in mind. Even when I started One Voice, I just had a vision and goal. I didn't know who was going to come on board, who was going to support, who was going to be a part of it. I mean, you're a part of our team. And so there's many, many people who have supported One Voice in different levels. And it's not just about One Voice. Even in my career as a registered nurse, I've gained a lot of support by just focusing on the vision's goals and not focusing on anything else other than the fact of doing good. Do good, and good will come to you, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And that's the most important. And if you have a dream and vision, and I teach my daughter this all the time, and she works, on the same sort of path, is that keep a vision and goal in mind. Know that your dreams are possible. And, staying optimistic about that. And you are going to face hurdles and obstacles. Nobody can say, dreaming up a vision and then not having any problems along the way. That's not true. So these young girls, because you are young, you're more resilient. You're, that confidence, don't let your confidence down. Always remember that you will get to where you need to go. Sometimes the path is slower, sometimes it's easier. But always have your goals in mind and aim for what you want to do.
Thank you so much. So don't lose your vision, work for it, and it will come back in 1,000 folds whenever the time is right. And don't give up. So that's excellent. And especially the young girls in the sports too. We see some younger women coming up. Go for it. And and thank you so much for coming in today.
No problem. Thank you for having me. And it's always nice and a pleasure to be on your shows, Camilla.
Happy International Women's Day.
Thank you. Same to you.
Thank you, Dupinder. Let's talk about the upcoming events. I would like you all to save the date, March 21st, where Asian Pulse TV and Shakti Society is hosting Anti-Racism Day at City Library at 5 p.m. Everyone is invited to attend. For further information, you can call Kamila Singh at 604-537-5123. You can also call Sonia at 604-307-8796 or Dupinder at 604-218-3976. Gearing up for Ramadan already? I'm very delighted to announce a fundraising dinner to help tackle food insecurities across Canada on March 18th at 6 p.m. at the Park Convention Centre in Surrey. Keynote speaker will be Imam Hamid Salimi, and there will be many other speakers plus silent auction. So get up, buy a ticket, or you can call Hina at 778-838-7126. Showman Events Entertainment and Production House host free open mics every fortnight at Momo Factory in Delta and Moonlight Delight Restaurant in Langley. For further information, you can call 604-790-9077. One of our friends from Asian Pulse TV is in dire need of kidney donation. We all have 2 kidneys. So if you would like to consider donating your kidney and if you are the right candidate for the donation, please call us and we will guide you on each step. Our friend has worked in healthcare sector for past 35 years and now she's retired. If you have missed our show, you can watch it again tomorrow night at 8:30 and again on Saturday at 5:30 p.m. on Shaw Cable. All of our shows are also uploaded on our YouTube channel under Asian Pulse TV. Please watch and share. I would like to highlight that we have 3 shows each week. Fiji in Focus, which you can watch on Tuesday at 10 p.m., Thursday at 2:30 p.m. and Sundays at 4 p.m. Kamila Singh Show on Mondays at 10 a.m. and again on Sundays at 5:30 p.m. VT Vibes TV, which is broadcasted on Thursday at 10 p.m. and again on Sunday at 4:30 p.m. All of our shows are also uploaded on YouTube channels, so share, subscribe and like. Before I leave, I want to say the few things about women. The strength of a woman is not measured by the impact that all her hardships in life have had on her. The strength of women is measured by the extent of her refusal to allow those hardships to dictate her and dictate who she becomes. With that, I'm your host Manbir, wishes you a very beautiful week. I'll see you next week.